Hello, I'm Lisa,
I'm Cryss.
and this is episode 62 of the Three of Skeins podcast. Huzzah! The first of 2023. So this is kind of momentous.
Not really.
I'm wondering, should we make this like season 2?
Do we have to decide that on camera?
I guess not.
Okay.
It just came to me. Remember that frolicking mind we were talking about?
I'm like, see, that's why frolicking is back.
Hi guys. I'm going to kick it off today because as you see, I am wearing my Dofuku and it's on this side. And my button pin is backwards for me. And my button pin, and I'm wearing it like a slightly different way. Now it's a piece of jewelry, not just a closure. Now I did have my Sophie scarf on, but honestly, it's too hot. With all of it, it's a lot. It's a lot. It'll be great for when the weather gets cold again. But
no, it would be that cold inside the house.
No, but if I have to run out, I'll be completely ensconced in the wool. But I love her. All right. It was just a really, really simple knit, really.
Too simple to pay for?
Not that simple. Not that simple. But like I said, it was done basically in, I guess, 5 pieces. I finally did color in all the parts of my pie chart. I want to
talk about your pie chart. Do not want to talk about your pie chart.
I'm not a math-based person.
We're all math-based people.
She is cozy, she's comfy, she's warm, and I just love the little detail of the single, really 2 rows of a contrast color, and I ended up using a yarn from Knitting Bro. I think it's called Autumn Leaves. And it was a fingering weight, so I doubled it up to make it bulk up enough to stand up to the worsted weight I'm working in. And the modification that I did to this jacket was I added a texture pattern to it rather than have it be all stockinette like the original. So here's the original. And isn't it funny? I ended up doing accent color that's not that far off from the body color of the original. Here's my sketch to think about what it might look like. And I had initially gone with a pink accent that everyone downvoted. I eventually changed my mind. I was like, okay. And here it is on with the full ensemble and the button acting as a button. Very happy with that. Hey, I've got a button of many talents now. So I made the button too. And if you want to see more details about the button, we talked about that in our Winter Yarn YouTube hop. But this is just a button I got at a button show. And I attach magnets and another button to act as a handle in the back. And that's how she stays on. What yarn did I use? Oh, this was some Deep Stash. This yarn is actually discontinued. It's a Rowan Classic in the colorway Cashmere, I think. But I don't know. Maybe you can get some if someone is destashing, but it's a lovely, light, lofty yarn. And I haven't even blocked this yet. I'm just wearing it like fresh off the needles, okay? I will eventually block it, but it was too good to pass up. Anyway, that's my finished object. I know we let off with the finished object this time.
I have no finished objects. I did nothing over Christmas. I did nothing, and it was nice. Sometimes I just sat and stared at the television. I wouldn't even call it watching. I was just staring at the pretty lights and colors on the screen. Yes. Letting my mind go blank.
Pretty lights, pretty colors.
But
you ate ham.
I ate almost all.
You ate ham.
Lisa says we're not allowed to measure ourselves for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but people. Yeah.
It was a lot of food. I had to like started eating on Thanksgiving and just kept eating until New Year.
Yeah. So we are no measuring ourselves, because remember we said we were going to take new measurements because everybody needed new measurements. So we're going to give it a couple of weeks before any tape measures come out.
But the last thing I made last year was a pair of leg warmers. And I mentioned that I had another yarn, but I didn't know what to do with before. And now I'm going to make some leg warmers. So I was just going to show you all that yarn. I got this years ago. This might be 2019.
Oh,
at Allentown.
Allentown.
This is at Allentown. And this is Haute Knit yarn. And the base is called Jimmy's Sock. And the color, I believe, is called Firecracker. Yeah. And when I bought this, the dyer was actually like knitting with this specific color in her booth. And I saw it and fell in love with it. And I was like, oh, I need it. And it's really, really pretty. And I do like it. But I don't know. I just wasn't seeing it as a sweater.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what to do with it. And, you know, like I don't really wear hats. So I wasn't going to make a hat. But now these will be beautiful leg warmers. So, and it's just a 75-25 sock yarn. Yeah. And they're
nice
about
and
to be some gorgeous leg warmers that will actually keep my legs warm. And you know what? I thought leg warmers were just like, I thought that's what you just called them. But no, they do keep your legs warm. And it's actually very, very nice. So that will, I don't know if that's going to be like my next make, but it's going to be earlier in the year rather than later because, you know, I want to wear them while it's still cold. If it gets cold, I don't know if we do cold anymore. I'm confused.
Yeah, we either do, you know, dangerously cold or weirdly warm and humid.
So, but yeah, that's on the queue. Mm-hmm. It's not like, I don't know if it's the next thing on the queue, but that's on the queue. And then like my green top that I was making, I've actually completely redesigned it. So I'm going to have to rip out what I did. And it's going to be a whole other top.
Oh.
That's going to be very cute. But
do we have any like ideas about what it's going to look like? Because I had a whole nother vision in mind for that.
Yeah. Well, I would, let me see if I can find it. I would have to be able to find a picture on my phone. So, okay. You can talk about the sale.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so on the day that we're filming this, the Universal Yarn Company is still having a sale. So do go to their website. There's a little sale tab right on the top line. Click it. There's good things going on sale over at Universal. And the price is right. And they're also having a sale on this brand. If you really like leather, really nicely crafted leather bags and leather goods, there's this brand called Mud, M-U-U-D.
Yeah, that is Danish or Norwegian?
Something like that.
I think Danish.
But beautiful stuff. Usually never goes on sale. It's on sale now, 30% off. So check it out. If you really like that kind of thing, you'll get a great price right now.
Okay, I found my picture. Okay, so this is the inspiration. That is what I think I will be making with my green top. So it's just kind of like a shrug, and it kind of crosses over in the front, and then the back is just plain, and it is shorter in the front than it is in the back, and I think that's really cute. And it's from I believe a Korean like online shopping mall called Yes Style, and I saw it and I was like, I can make that. You know, because sometimes I see something and I'm like, oh, I want to buy it, but and I think about it for half a second. I'm like, or I could just totally make that, which takes so much longer. I mean, literally, it would probably get here from Korea faster than I could make it. But I think I would really like it in this yarn. Mm-hmm. So we're going to give it a shot. And this is, yeah. So if you see in the front, it has that just tiny little bit of crossover.
Oh, yeah. That's cute.
And you know, I have like this phobia around shaping. So I feel like this is a project that would let me do a little bit of shaping, but it's going to be like non-critical because the shaping in this case won't affect the fit, just the style. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's a good place to start.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's what the green yarn is about to become. But the top that I was making with the green yarn, I still want to make it, but I think I'm going to make it out of a different yarn. I might make it actually out of something a little bit heavier than fingering weight.
Oh.
So that's still in the, you see, that's like 3 things already. So the leg warmers, and then the shrug, and then the cowl neck top. The list is growing already, and it's January 5th.
Hey.
I'm just
you got big dreams. I ain't mad at you.
Already, it feels just a little daunting. But yeah, that's where I am right now. I haven't touched the hook. You would think I was allergic to them, but it was just because I'm designing everything I make. I realized that resting for me means like not actively designing something in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when you are not physically crocheting, you're not resting either. Yes. If you're making sketches and you're taking measurements and you're still doing all of that other work. So I just realized I needed to give myself a break from that as well. But as you can see, once I turned on the machine, it started whirring right away.
It was refreshed.
Yes. It was refreshed. So I it's not like I have nothing to do. It's not like I'm at a place where it's like, oh, I don't know what to make. I just haven't been making anything.
And do you find that because this just happened to me, I was in the closet looking for some other yarn, and I came across this other yarn, and I was like, oh, that would be perfect for.
Yeah, sometimes you see, like the yarn I was using, the green yarn I was using. Now I'm like, oh, that would be perfect for the shrug, because the shrug just popped into my head out of nowhere. That's why I take these pictures and keep them on my phone, because you gotta just follow your impulses. Yeah. Yeah. But sometimes I'm just like, I have this cabinet in my room, and I forgot it was chock full of yarn, and I opened it, and I was like, oh snap.
Is that why there's a yarn buying moratorium for you right now?
Oh, sweetie.
Did you discover a little treasure trove?
So I realized that I have quite a bit of yarn. But you know what? It's yarn that I still like. Sometimes you buy and you buy and you buy, and then when you look at it later, you're like, oh, why did I buy that? But everything in the cabinet is just like, oh man, I can't wait to get to that. Not like, oh, why is this here? So I'm still in a good place. But yeah, I am. What I'm going to try to do, good intentions, right?
Because April's coming.
I'm going to try to not buy any yarn online. Instead, I will only buy yarn when I go to a yarn store or some sort of yarn event, like the Wool Walk or New Jersey Sheep and Wool or something like that. Because I feel like if I can avoid buying yarn between events, because if you are shopping online, and you could end up buying stuff every day if you let yourself, right? Whereas the event, it's like that one day, and whatever you do that day,
discreet, yeah.
Right. it has a beginning and an end.
Yes,
exactly. The internet is endless. So the plan for the year is to not purchase yarn online, but to only purchase yarn, with intention, meaning I went to a store specifically looking to purchase yarn a day. So basically to beat off the impulse buying and to buy, intentionally. That is the plan. We will see how that goes.
Notice I ain't saying nothing about that, right?
Yeah.
I ain't saying nothing about that.
Because she waiting for some yarn she just ordered. She hit up that Universal sale.
Yeah. I told you Universal was having a really good sale, right?
Though I haven't even looked, because I was just like, I know what's going to happen if I look. I'm going to find things that I like. So instead, I'm just going to shop my little cabinet that I opened the other day. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes total sense, because I was just in my yarn closet the other day, and I was like, oh, this is nice.
So I have a very nicely curated yarn collection. I'm very happy with her. So I'm just gonna try to. I want to try to shop my stash and use up some of this yarn, so there's space to buy more yarn.
Because it has to live somewhere.
Yes, okay. That's the ultimate objective. It's not about buying less and spending less money. No, I'm just out of room. So we're gonna use up some of what we have and make more room.
Oh, did you see Nitty Natty? She got her stash down to one
I
skein.
did. I didn't watch the video because
I
I
did.
was, but I saw the thumbnail.
Yeah.
And I didn't think she'd make it because, she has bought yarn over the course of
She
the year.
got 79 skeins over the course of the year. And she got that. Well, she gave away 46 skeins.
Okay, because I was like, how does she make 76 skeins of yarn worth of things in a year? Okay.
And she got it down to one skein. Because I didn't believe it.
Okay, but you know what? I would just like to say, I'm not like shading her, but she has to get rid of some of that yarn just by giving it away. I don't think it's realistic to say you're going to stitch away your stash. So if you're stashing down, yes, you can do that, but not just by making things.
Yeah. But you know what? She made a very good point with the giveaways. Because like you said, sometimes you bought yarn, especially when we were very excited, and then you get it home and you're like, why did I buy this? So she said she liked what was left much better after she got rid of the stuff that just wasn't her anymore. So I was like, all right, that's reasonable.
I think that's the problem that I had with the concept of the stash down. I guess I had the impression that people meant they were just gonna make and not buy any more yarn. And both of those just seem not entirely realistic. But if you just go and hand some of it away, then yeah, you can stash down.
Yeah.
But I didn't see anyone stitching their way to stash 0.
Yeah, no.
But yeah. Allentown, which they never came back.
No.
But where I got this yarn, child, I went a little crazy at Allentown. And I'm not like trying to like humble brag. I'm not saying, oh, I spent so much money, but I did. But here's the thing. Yeah, if you are familiar with the 80s at all, a lot of sitcoms. Like sitcoms had like a real like moment in the 80s. And I used to watch all of them. And in many, many sitcoms, there's always an episode where a teenager gets their first credit card and they don't understand how credit cards work. And then they get themselves in like a lot of trouble financially. And it's always like a very important lesson at the end of the episode. I spent like a sitcom teenager with their first credit card at Allentown. And the point is to try to avoid doing that. So even when I do go to events, I will be, a bit more circumspect than I have been in the past.
Matter of fact, I bought beautiful things at Allentown. And when I had kept them in my closet long enough and I realized, honey, you're not going to get to this, I gave them to you guys.
It's hard. Like I said, you know what? I feel like I don't always use my time the way I would like to. And I keep telling myself, oh, if I just did more, I would, you always think you can add more hours to a particular activity.
Yeah, no.
And I don't know. I have to, having like a real rigid time block schedule doesn't work for me.
No.
But just having this whole laissez-faire thing don't work either. So I have to actually figure out a way to schedule my time and plan when I'm going to be crocheting and when I'm going to be doing the different things that I need to do.
Right.
Wish me luck.
I believe.
Because that's just not the way my mind works. But yeah, that's where I am right now. Lisa's already working on her next project, though.
You know what? I was very excited about it. I'm still experimenting with not working on multiple things at the same time. It's very strenuous and strange.
How is it strenuous?
Because
it seems to be less strenuous.
I have magpie mind, and my mind is like, it's already in the next thing.
But see, that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Just be with the project you're working on now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been working on it. I've been doing that. But it was very difficult. So I wanted to wait until I finished this sweater to move on to my shawl. I'm working on the Aurora cabin shawl. It is Seam West Hyber Knit Along project. I saw this picture and I was like, yes, that's a shawl for me. And I actually did a video on how I chose my colors, but here is my color scheme. I shopped it all from my stash. I was very happy about that.
What's that pink speckly one in the middle?
That is Yuccagini.
Oh,
It's called Valentine.
I like Tweety yarn.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. So I got it started because I managed to finish this while it was still
And y'all,
20
she been staying up later than
I
of
have
late.
but it's been brutal.
And I'll be giving her the eye because it don't do any good to try to tell her you're tired. That never works. No one can ever hear that.
No.
People can't hear you're tired or you're drunk for some reason. So I think maybe they both have the same effect on the brain. So
Yeah.
she be tired, but I can't get her to stop. So, you know, I wish you the best with your late night stitching.
Well,
Maybe you're getting used to it now.
No.
No?
No. Actually, matter of fact, I got up yesterday morning and got my knitting out of the way in the AM. So I didn't have to worry about it. So I am using it's a 5 skein shawl, right? And I've gone high low. So I have a couple of pricey skeins in there. I have a couple of medium skeins, and I have my $8 skein of Angora lace. Yippee. So I'm using Chelsea Lux, that's the cream, marinated yarn, Yucca. Oh, that's a great idea. So the yellow is the marinated yarn.
Why don't I go in the order they are in the picture? So from top to bottom.
That's even better. Yes. Okay, let me not go.
Top one is Chelsea Lux.
Yes. And it's called Grace and Pearl. It was a specific colorway done for that store. Marinated yarn is the lemon ice. This is Yucca. It's that pink. It's called Valentine. This is one of our colorways that was done for us. This is Three Bunny Designs, and it's called Cranberry Bogs. And then Wisdom Yarns Angora Lace. They're all fingering weight yarns, and I think they're going to combine to make a very striking shawl. And to be honest, I was not a fan of Stephen West's Mystery Knit Along shawl, but you know what? He does a lot of designs. No one's going to be a fan of everyone, but so far the knitting on this, it was exactly what he promised. It's very relaxed knitting. Mm-hmm. So this is sections 1 and 2. Now, it's going to start off really small because I started right here in the middle. I'm weaving in my ends as I go. So I'm hoping that by the time I'm done, I will not have any ends. And this is my Chelsea Lux and marinated yarns. Now, the next section, I'm going to be using all 5 colors in like a stripy kind of sequence. So that's going to be fun. I'm going to be breaking off these 2 and then going in with all 5. And it's going to explode out again. Mm-hmm. But I already love it.
I feel like if you could do this, you can make me a nice canal rings. But
you know what?
I really like that shawl.
I think you should design a crochet version of that shawl.
Yeah, no, I like that one.
Okay. But I'm loving her. And I already like how my colors are coming together. And I think that is the fun of doing this type of thing. I think one of my themes for my knitting this year is going to be using what I have. And this was one of the ways I found to use what I already had. I bought nothing for this shawl. I went through my stash and found yarn in the appropriate weight. And then using Stephen West's color choices as my inspiration, because I really liked that color combination he did in the sample, I created my own variation on that. That is, I think it suits me better because his colors and some of his colors are quite subtle, and I like that mine are a little bit bolder and punchier. So it's going to be kind of a scraptastic project that does not look like a scraptastic project. But that's where I'm at. I did have, if you take a look at our channel, I have a short up about the winding of this yarn. sometimes you don't mean to lie to yourself, but you do. I said to myself, you have those 5 skeins of yarn to wind. It'll probably take about an hour.
Oh.
It took more than 4 hours.
Oh.
I had some tangling issues like you wouldn't believe. Now, I have a swift and a very good winder. And I was able to wind 1 skein, start to finish. And it was like the 4th skein I wound. So I was a little crazy by then. It was like, y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here. Between the tangles, and sometimes there's loops. So often I had a ball of yarn on my thumb, winding there. That way I could take the little ball off and go in and out of the arms of the. It was drama. 4 hours spread over 2 days.
But everything is wound now.
Yes, thank you, Lordy.
Silver lining.
Oh, let me tell you what my favorite yarn is. Angora lace, because it comes in a pole skein. No winding required. If any yarn company is listening to me right now, ball up your yarn.
You know who does a nice skein? Barocco. They're ultra wool.
Oh.
The ultra wool skeins are perfect. They're absolutely perfect because not only are they center pull, but you can see where the end is that you're supposed to pull. They kind of like tuck it in a little spot.
Every ball.
Yeah. And then for some reason, they're almost like squared off a little bit so you can stack them.
Yeah, we always like, as a yarn store owner, you appreciate yarn you can stack.
Yeah. So if I could choose to put up for every single skein in the world, it would be whatever the hell Barocco is doing with that ultra wool because it is ideal.
Yes, it does. No matter how many people handle it, it doesn't come apart. Like those cute Italian donuts.
I don't know how they're doing that, but I don't know why that hasn't become industry standard. It would make me very happy.
Me too. Me too. Because your girl has some drama.
But it's done now. Put it in the bubble.
I haven't been able to put it in the bubble and blow it away yet. You see, I'm still holding on to it just a little tiny bit.
If anyone knows that reference, put it in the comments.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your favorite put up? Pole skein.
Specifically.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's supposed to be a pole skein, but then you get yarn vomit. I've never had yarn vomit.
You know who did a great job too? Remember Alta Yarns? Alta, they sold this beautiful alpaca yarn, right? It was in a plastic work bag with a grommet, and the tail was already pulled out and taped down, so you could just go.
That was pretty cool too.
Rest in peace, Alta.
Wasn't stackable.
It wasn't. Not even a little bit.
So Barocco still has the edge on that one.
So, yeah.
Well, that's the current state of affairs.
Yeah.
Mom's been making fingerless gloves. She saw, and bags. Sometimes she gets on a kick. So she's been making a little bag, like a little wristlet. And so she made several of those, and she made several fingerless gloves.
Oh, and let me tell you what can happen in here. Somebody can just go, "You got any leather?" And more often than not, somebody else goes, "What color do you need?" You need a specific color?
We have a few craft supplies.
Yeah. So I had some leather.
I still miss AC Moore. I miss the trifectas.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm not as well stocked as I used to be.
Oh, I'm still pretty well stocked. I had leather.
Yeah.
I'm still pretty well stocked. I can't say that I'm not well stocked. So Mom says to me one day, "So you got any leather?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "What color do you need?" I only have one color, so she's been making these really cute gloves with a little leather detail that is adorable.
Yeah, she's having an accessories moment. And she's very happy. So that's where we each are right now.
So what are you looking at for 2023 in your making? You're not committed to anything just by
I feel like I'm about to sit here and tell some lies.
No. You're not committed to anything. It's just like what are you being attracted to right now
I
in
don't
terms
know.
of
Like, I
making?
feel like I have to work on my shaping finally.
Mhm.
I feel like I can't make everything a rectangle. A lot of things, though. I'm not mad at rectangles, they go very well.
Well,
But I do want to just expand the styles that I'm able to make. So I need to start getting over my fear of shaping.
you can do it. And the way you've been making, no one would know you're just making rectangles. Your stuff looks like it already has shaping to it.
I do my best. But, you know, I got the book on filet crochet, so I want to do that. I have a mosaic crochet book, and I would like to do that. I have kind of an idea for a cardigan I would like to do. And I got another book. I don't even remember what it was. But, and then I have a cables book. I'd like to do some cables. Um, oh, what was that other book? I think it was, you know what? It was cables as well. So I have 2 cables books now.
Oh.
So if you've been watching videos and seeing the books I've been buying, you already have a clue as to what I would like to do this year.
Right. What you gonna be
because
up to?
all of those books that like spoke to me were like indicative of where I was heading. So it's cables, it's mosaic, um, it's some shaping, and it's filet crochet. Sounding ambitious as I sit here saying it.
That's okay. That is totally okay.
But those are some of the things that I would like to do, to just be proficient at them. I want to add them to my tool set, so it's not like I want to like do all of any one thing. Like this is what I do now, but I just want to kind of have a more expansive repertoire, so that when I'm planning a project, I can pull from a lot of different skills and make things that are a little less plain.
Okay. More interesting even to do
Yeah.
as a project. That's one of the things I like about Stephen West projects, even his more relaxed one. It makes me think differently about combining stitches, combining color, and combining texture.
I feel like he has a unique design sense.
Yeah.
I feel like you could learn a lot from him as a knitter.
Or as a crocheter. Just from the way he combines texture and color.
But he does an expansive array of types of knitting stitches, and that doesn't exactly translate.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I do know. I have some ideas for things I would like to make this over the course of this year. I am. But my focus is going to be on different sweater shapes. So what I want to do is almost do a sweater study, so that I do a drop shoulder, I do a set-in sleeve sweater, I do a top-down sweater, maybe raglan with or without raglan shaping, just so that I can explore different ways of creating, a 3D shape for the body. So that's the direction I'm looking in now. And I do kind of want to make a couple of jackets with a little bit more structure to them. Like I do like this as an unstructured jacket, but I do also want to do a couple of structured pieces. And I think I've chosen them. Anything I say now could change. I have a couple of books, some older books that I will probably be pulling from.
I want to take a look at that Sweaters the Old Way or something like that.
Yeah.
Because you and Mom be talking about that, and now I'm curious.
But it's really about making sweaters by proportion. But I do have some pattern books that are just some of my older pattern books, but I kind of got stopped in my tracks by a couple of jackets that I saw. So they will be coming into the queue at some point. I also want to do a couple of soft, easy wear sweaters in nice, durable yarn to replace my sweatshirts. So I want to do a couple of sweatshirty type pieces. what else am I thinking about over the course of the year? And this summer, I did tank tops last summer. I want to do t-shirts for the summer months. I ordered the yarn for it on sale.
I want to focus on sweater necklines because I tend to do the same kind of like crew style neckline over and over again,
Right.
even though that is not the neckline I like. It's just the first one I learned how to do.
Mm-hmm.
So now my plan is to do both boat necks, because every time I see someone in a boat neck sweater, I'm like, I really like that neckline, and I don't know why I don't just make more boat necks. I want to do boat necks. I want to do, off one shoulder, and I also want to do more V necks.
Mm-hmm.
My aversion to shaping has kept me from doing V necks, but those are the types of necklines I like to wear. Those are the things I tend to buy. And again, I just got kind of stuck in a mode because when I was making sweaters and patterns, I was typically seeing one neckline over and over again. And like, I've done it to death. And now it's really time for me to, customize my sweaters a little bit more and make the kinds of necklines that I actually like to wear.
Check out that Melissa Lehman book, The 6,000 Sweater Possibilities.
I looked through it once. I'm going to, I'm not up to resources yet.
Yeah.
I just have like an idea.
Yeah. But I think that's going to be my big thing for the course of the year. I want to do like a sweater study, see what kind of sweater do I like to make for myself.
And I also want to do oversized sweaters, and I'm always worried about like conserving yarn, so I tend to make the sweater like closer to fit it. But I want to do, again, just what's comfortable for me to wear. I want to do oversized sweaters. I actually want to do some cropped sweaters, like both like just like above the waist and then like a proper like crop sweater, because I like those and they're cute and comfortable, and cropped will also use less yarn. Yes. So I want to do sweaters that use less yarn and then sweaters that use more yarn. But yeah, I just want to like vary the styles of sweaters I've been making, because I have been more or less playing it safe, and I'm ready to do a little bit less of that. Last year was my first year where everything I made I designed myself, and it was also the first year where I made more clothes than I purchased. I only purchased 2 items of clothing last year. And none of you know me, but that is damn near a miracle. Okay. Like, yeah. I went from being someone who literally used to buy new clothes every month to buying 2 articles of clothing for a whole calendar year. That has never happened before. But I made a number of things, both crochet and sewing. So I still added to my wardrobe, and I was very, very happy. So I will be, getting back into my sewing. I'm just getting like my workspace together now so that I have a comfortable space for my sewing. But I would like to continue those two tracks that I've been on. I want to keep designing, the majority. It doesn't have to be everything. There might be some patterns I use this year, but I want to keep designing more things than I make from patterns, and I want to make more clothes than I buy. So, but I feel like, I can do that though, because I've already done it. So I feel a lot more confident about that than like the whole shaping business. But that is also like where my head is at.
And I want to make some socks. I haven't made myself socks in a minute.
Yeah. You used to be like Susie Sock.
Yeah. I just haven't had the time. So I definitely want to make some socks. And I have a couple of ideas for a couple of little things for my niece.
She loved her vest.
Yeah. She was like...
She absolutely loved her vest.
She was so down. I was like,
So that's mostly what I've been thinking about for next year. I don't have any like quote unquote resolutions per se. I done gave up on resolutions years ago. But I have, goals, intentions, areas of focus, if you will.
You know what? I think that's the best way. Areas of focus. It's whatever your mind is on that stuff anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So give yourself permission to really like explore it. So here's the question. What are you planning to make? Or what trajectory is your maker life going to take this 2023? As opposed to next 2023, but
this year, comma 2023. Colors are so important.
They are. Oh.
So, and leg warmers. She's gonna be making socks. I'm gonna make leg warmers.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's a way, maybe like a lacy. Is there a way to make like a lighter weight spring summer style leg warmer, or would it just look crazy to wear any kind of leg warmer at all in the summer? I don't know, but we're going to explore that. I would love to have at least a 3-season, if not a 4-season leg warmer.
Yeah, I think 3-season because our summers have gotten so insanely hot that I don't think you'd want to wear it.
Kind of, yeah.
But fall can be brisk. Fall can be. You might be able to use a leg warmer.
I want to expand my idea of the leg warmer though, because I usually only see them on dancers, but they have like a full length leg warmer that goes like from the thigh, and I would love to do something like that too.
Oh.
Just kind of play around with the notion of leg warmer so that I'm not like just making the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So, but that would probably involve shaping. So,
yes, it would.
So, as you see, I feel like if I can actually, like, again, get over my aversion to shaping,
but you know what?
I can.
Maybe that's where you want to start with shaping your leg warmer. Because you don't have to worry about armholes and all of that. You don't have to make a neckline. And it's really a tube. So if you could shape that tube very gently.
That, but in skirts. I was planning to start because that's where I get tripped up a lot, that whole waist to hip thing. And so we definitely need to work on that. Because usually I end up making something that fits my hips, but then I have to just fudge some sort of decrease to make it, fit my waist.
I sent you that article, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. There's an article in Knitting Magazine. I'll put it in the description bar that tells you how to do the hip to waist ratio.
But, yep. Also, leg warmers. I love them. I love them. I don't understand. I have like a collection of leg warmers and boot cuffs, and I would like to like kind of slowly replace them with ones that I've made myself. So that's the plan.
My other thing is I want to use mostly yarn I already have rather than focus on acquiring yarn for a specific project. So I want to become a little bit more playful with how I place yarn, even if I'm going to work from a pattern, how I place yarn to create yardage. So that's my other thing. That's
how a slutty cardigan got stripes. I did not have enough of that yarn to make an oversized cardigan.
There you go.
So I totally understand that. And I feel like I've gotten a lot better at doing that. I feel like the tee I made for the wool walk.
Oh gosh, yeah.
the comeback tee.
Example of that.
Yeah. So I might do that again for the wool walk this year. We'll see. I don't know. But it is a great way to keep the wool walk from getting out of hand. Just because, again, like a yarn festival, there's so many vendors. You go into a bunch of different yarn stores. They're not all centralized like at a yarn festival, but you're still going to so many different vendors, and you can, hurt yourself. And my whole wool walk, shopping was under $100, and I was very excited about that, and I love the top that I got out of it.
Oh yeah.
So it was just a fun challenge, and it was a completely different way of working for me to just pick random yarns and try to combine them into a thing.
Yes.
But I ended up being really happy with it. So I might make that an annual tradition. We'll see.
I think it was a great idea. My original intention was to make socks out of my wool walk yarn, but I got so caught up in garments, I didn't have time for socks. So several of my wool walk skeins are actually going into this shawl.
Oh. Wait a minute. So all the walk socks aren't going to happen now?
Not all of them, no. Ain't got time for that. But I did set aside two that I wanted to use together in a pair of socks that are going to be socks.
Okay.
And I have another shawl plan that is going to incorporate wool walk yarn. So the yarn still has a plan.
Okay.
It's just a slightly different plan. Stay flexible, my people. Stay flexible.
But yeah, so that is where we are and where we're going.
Yeah. So let us know what your plans are for 2023. And have fun with it. Don't make it like a
but I want us to do check-ins, maybe quarterly, with all of our stated goals to talk about how we've been, progressing in those areas of focus.
All right, girl. That sounds fancy. Oh, all right. You know what? I will make a note on my calendar when we're up to about a quarter. We can see how we're doing that. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
that'll be fun. You got anything else today?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us once again. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And see you next time.
Stay stitching.